They are listed. Sean, out of there. Entertain motions regarding resolution 2023-19.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve resolution 2023-19 qualifying fees.
Second.
Okay. All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Fletcher and a second by Commissioner Thrash to approve resolution 2023-19 regarding the, qualifying fees. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll call to the vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Our next item on the agenda for tonight is resolution 2023-20, which is the approval of the county budget. Mr. Townsend, you and your team did a phenomenal job in presenting this in the public hearing. Really appreciate the work that you guys put into that, even making, the binders. Those of you might not know, we could easily send these to Office Max or Office Depot, whoever is in business now, and pay to have this done. But Sean actually ordered the machine, and he's been doing them, in-house, and that's just another way to show that our finance department and county administrator, are trying to do whatever they can to reduce the cost, here for things that we produce. So thank you very much for all that you did to put that together. Would you like to make any highlights or anything you wanted to mention about the, budget?
So not really, just to, wanna make sure that everybody knows the, general fund amount is $15,501,742. The state fund is $70,000. The law library is $75,000. The sheriff's, compensated account is $250,000. E911 fund is $496,230. Hotel motel is $2,800, and our ARP funds, to in that office, $190,061, and our capital project funds is $3,389,278, and that's why our revenues and expenditures is the budget, balanced budget.
It's kind of wild. Back in the day, I used to be a quarterback, and I would love to score a touchdown and give the football to one of the linemen and let them celebrate the win. And this is twice that, Mr. Townsend didn't celebrate the win as strong, but will you celebrate the win and explain to people here the number that, Commissioner Levin and I sit here so excited about when it comes to the percent of property tax?
Actually, it was on my county administrative report, but, just, I can shoot my name up. Just show you this, just try to give out some yearly, 2013, our, property tax for the total budget was 55%. Fiscal year 2015 was almost 60%. Fiscal year 2017 is 58%. 2019 is 57%. And, 2021 was 56%. And this budget we're approving right now is, we're requesting to be approved. And the property tax is only gonna be 46.3% of the total budget. So long as we've been, over the years, we, like I said before, in 2013, we've been, came up with a good plan, a 10-year plan to try to reduce our TAN node, and we have eliminated that, and now we're trying to pass it on to the taxpayers that we are able not to spend that money on interest of the TAN node versus putting the services into the citizens, for the citizens.
For a community that, as you guys know, we do not have a lot of, commercial industry here, so for a community like ours to be able to be, sub 50%, from a financial standpoint, that's a huge accomplishment. So thank you so much for all the directors and everything they do to try to, drive down costs. I'll entertain a motion in regarding resolution 2023-20, for budget approval.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve resolution 2023-20, budget approval as presented.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Lovett and a second by Commissioner Fletcher to approve resolution 2023-20, for approval of county budget. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Alright, the next item on our agenda for tonight is the request for the forensic audit by the, Solid Waste Authority. This was a request to be added to the, workshop and agenda for December.
Mr. Chairman, I have a motion, and some discussion after. I make a motion that we deny the request for the forensic, audit for the Solid Waste Authority.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Fletcher, is there a second?
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Fletcher and a second by Commissioner Thrash to, deny the request for the forensic audit by the Solid Waste Authority. For the Solid Waste Authority. Any discussion?
Discussion. Based on our legal counsel, we do not have the authority to demand this. I'm all for, integrity, I'm all for open records and what have you, but based on the legal, counsel that we were given as a board, we do not have the authority.
Mr. Chairman, may I? So I think there's some ambiguity in the law. Generally speaking, an authority does not directly answer, and you cannot make a board answer to, you cannot make an authority answer to this board. That's the reason that you separate them. But the distinction here is that we are not asking the Solid Waste Authority to forensically audit itself. So we're not asking the authority to perform its own audit. We're not demanding the authority to perform its own audit. We, in September, talked about asking for an audit that would pierce the corporate veil. And there are only a handful of agencies capable of doing that, none of which are the Solid Waste Authority. So, you know, the request should have been that the Lamar County Board of Commissioners ask the Sheriff's Office, the Talladega District Attorney, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, or the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Therefore, you don't have to ask the Solid Waste Authority to audit themselves. You know what the result of that audit would be. It'd be fruitless, and it would probably violate the authority to force them to do that audit. So, you know, if you'd like to vote on that, I'll put a separate motion that we actually ask for one of these other agencies with the ability to pierce the corporate veil, and then we'll vote on that. So we can vote on your motion if you like, and then we'll vote on the next one.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'm gonna put a motion on the floor that we table this forensic audit, and I'm going to ask that we ask the county attorney to give us a written legal opinion citing the legal authority that we have to order this audit in any form, shape, or fashion.
I will withdraw my motion.
Mr. Chairman, on
Mr. Chairman, a motion to table has no discussion. It's on the floor for your rule.
So we have a table, a motion to table, and a second by Commissioner Fletcher. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
And I will, vote to, for this motion to table, to get a clarification. To get a clarification from the attorney.
Mr. Chairman, this brings me to something else. Up until last month, when private counsel was hired,
I'm sorry, that motion is already carried.
this is a separate.
Okay, go ahead.
Up until last month, when private counsel was hired by the Lamar County Regional Solid Waste Authority, the Lamar County Attorney has represented both the Lamar County Board of Commissioners and the Lamar County Regional Solid Waste Authority. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that the Lamar County Attorney immediately be tasked with formulating a short list of qualified legal firms for consideration by the Lamar County Board of Commissioners to serve as a conflict counsel.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Gillis and a second by Commissioner Lovett, to, seek and get the board approval of conflict attorneys. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Motion carries.
Mr. Chairman, while we're on legal, today we received what is my fifth, attorney letter, about the Solid Waste Authority. Anytime that I have asked for an update or a visit, or any sort of information whatsoever, I don't get a response back. In the affirmative, what I get back is a legal letter that I find rather threatening in nature. Today, for the letter that we received from the attorney, specifically stated that all of these contracts benefit Amway's. And with Amway's benefited, you're prohibited from voting on that because in your financial disclosure, you were 5 times over the limit of what you are allowed to by county ethics law. And so the vote that you just took should not have been allowed. So my motion is, I would like our council to formally give us an opinion on whether the vote that you just took is legal. I put forth the motion.
Shouldn't it be the new conflict counsel we're gonna hire?
We shall let our conflict counsel, I put forth the motion, that our conflict counsel determine whether the vote that you just took is allowed under the county rule of ethics.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to allow the conflict attorney to review to see if there is a violation of ethics in my vote. Based on the recommendation of our current counsel, there is no conflict. So, do you have any discussion?
Chairman, I feel like that motion's out of order because we voted to have him look into, the conflict counsel, and I think we can discuss all those at one time, all the conflicts, or if there are any that may be standing.
I vote for the motion is for.
That's what the motion for conflict counsel, that was the point. Nothing else.
Alright, so the motion is to, have the conflict attorney, rather than our current attorney, to review whether or not there is an ethical reason that, based on the county code, not the state code, the federal code, but on the county code, whether or not I am, within my right to, vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There's a tie, I will break the tie, and I will vote for the motion to have the conflict attorney approve that. The motion carries. All right, the next item,
Mr. Chairman, I have another issue.
no,
I-
this still a solid waste authority.
Yeah, the
item?
solid waste authority item. yes, sir.
Because this is not on the agenda, you didn't amend the agenda to.
I am on the forensic audit.
Okay, it's
We
still
are
under forensic audit.
We are still under forensic audit. I have already agreed that this board does not, or may not have the authority to force the solid waste authority to perform an internal audit. That is not what I was going to motion here tonight. And so I make the motion that the Lamar County Board of Commissioners request the Office of the Lamar County Sheriff, Office of the Tioga District Attorney, Georgia Bureau of Investigation, or the Federal Bureau of Investigation, agencies possessing the legal authority to pierce the corporate veil, perform a forensic financial audit of the Lamar County Regional Solid Waste Authority to begin within the first quarter of 2024.
Second.
You have a motion on the floor from Commissioner Lovett and a second from Commissioner Gillis to request, the GBI, the FBI, the Tioga court system.
Yep.
The other institutions to do it.
Lamar County Sheriff's
or
Office
the Lamar County Sheriff's Office. to,
and the board.
Complete a forensic audit of the solid waste authority. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, my motion to table included those items. There's no discussion in the motion to table. We voted to motion to table. This is a motion that's out of order.
Your discussion was on whether we had the ability to force the solid waste authority to perform an audit on themselves. And I have already said that you probably have legal standing for that. But what you don't have legal standing for is to tell this board that you cannot ask a law enforcement agency to look into what is now going on a 10-year issue. So that is the motion before us, none of which has to do with the authority's ability to decide whether or not to audit themselves.
Mr. Chairman, the motion is out of order, and we voted to have a legal opinion on the forensic audit by any entity. The motion is out of order.
I disagree, Mr. Chairman. I put forth the motion. I think it should be voted on.
Any more discussion? I would bring the motion to a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
under Robert's Rule of Orders, it's up to you to rule whether or not the motion's out of order. It does not go to a vote.
I feel like the motion is in order. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
We have 2 for and 2 against. I vote against it.
Mr. Chairman, on the same topic, I have one more item.
Motion denied. Yes, sir.
I make a motion that the Lamar County Board of Commissioners compel the Lamar County Regional Solid Waste Authority to avail, upon reasonable notice, multiple non-affiliated third parties to review, evaluate the waste energy project, the viability of project completion, estimated financial resources needed to accomplish its completion, status of all equipment owned, leased, or operated by the Lamar County Regional Solid Waste Authority, including but not limited to the waste energy buildings, property, landfill, and on-street assets, with all reports completed by the end of first quarter of 2024.
I second that.
Yes, sir.
We have a motion to compel the Lamar County Regional Solid Waste Authority to avail upon reasonable notice multiple non-affiliated third parties to review and evaluate the waste energy project, the viability, the project completion, the estimated financial resources needed for completion, and the status of all equipment owned, leased, and operated by the Lamar County Regional Solid Waste Authority, including but not limited to the waste energy buildings, property, landfill, and street assets, with all reports completed by the end of the first quarter 2024. We have a motion on the floor and a second. Discussion?
Just so, I'm clear on this, this is gonna be an engineering audit for the whole project.
We're not gonna use audit. I think
Engineering.
the objective here is, you know, like I've already previously stated, I've asked multiple times throughout the year to go see this. The last request, that we made, I actually made it on behalf of this commission to go see and include, if possible, public access, so that we could actually see where we were. Not only did I get an absolutely no from the solid waste attorney, but I actually got more that said, we're gonna look into your finances since you've asked about it, which is fine. They're free to look in any way they want. But we have got to find out where we are so that we know where we have to go. If this is a viable project, there are 11 other companies currently doing this in the United States. Certainly, some of those 11 will come in and give you an opinion about where you're at. They already know how to do this, they're already doing it, so I think that it is owed you know, in addition to the audit, probably the most important thing we need to do is find out where we're at and how we go forward. You good with that?
It's hard to vote when you don't have all the information. Some of this stuff is just sprung on us, just at a moment's notice. So, just for the record, it's hard to vote when.
So I answer
Are you asking to table this, or you asking?
I would like to table it because some of this encompasses some legal advice.
May I ask? May I ask?
And I'll second
So
that.
for a year, I've been trying to give you that information. And every time I try to give you that information, I am stalled by the legal department, which the irony cannot be lost. The Solid Waste Authority that is using these people's money, using your citizens' money, is writing threatening letters to me to tell them to quit asking questions on their behalf. And so,
There's actually, you made a motion to table, and there's a second, no, he's already tabled, so he asked for a table, so we're not discussing. And you second the motion, so we have a motion by Commissioner Fletcher and a second by Commissioner Thrash to table this discussion. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
no,
So I will break the tie, and I will vote that we will table this issue.
Mr. Chairman, just for the record, I want to again, state that I do not believe any of the votes that you've taken on Solid Waste Authority.
That is totally fine, we've already said.
I want it on the record.
It's on the record 10 minutes ago, we said we're gonna use a conflict attorney. We don't need the grandstanding, we don't need any addition. Really? This is, you requested the grant, you requested the, conflict attorney, so we will allow the conflict attorney to make that determination.
Since we've tabled that, when will these items be on? On January?
Whenever we have a conflict attorney, we have to identify a conflict attorney.
Okay. I make a motion that we put this on January.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Lovett and a second by Commissioner Gillis to put this on our agenda for January. Would you? Yeah. Discussion.
Would you, agree that we will table this until we get the legal opinion? We don't know how long it's gonna take to get a conflict attorney. I'm sure that a lot of attorneys, especially this time of year, aren't gonna be available to just jump into this. Will you agree? If it comes in January, we'll put it on the agenda for January. If it comes in February, we'll put it on the agenda for February.
No, ma'am. So, and, we were promised by the Solid Waste Authority 1 year ago, almost today, that this project would be completed and up and running by February. There was another July 1st that they failed to meet their own internal deadline. They failed to meet a December JIFA deadline. Certainly in 30 days.
The vote has, the discussion was to apply it onto the.
January.
January. And we have a second by Commissioner Gillis. Would you second that motion? All right, any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I make a motion that we table this issue until we get a legal opinion from our conflict attorney.
All right, we have a motion to table.
A discussion on the table.
There's no discussion on the table. There's no discussion on the table. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
Okay, so I'll vote that we put this on the January, agenda. I'll vote support that agenda, that motion, being that we are seeking conflict attorney. And the reason being is this, is that as you guys know, we were a few years back involved in a very disputed, vote. And at any time that that's the case, to protect our citizens and potential lawsuits, we need to make sure that we, adhere to, sound, and we always have legal advice. And so in this particular case, if we're gonna use a conflict attorney, it will allow the conflict attorney to take a look at these things. So that motion carries. All right, so the next item on our agenda is the MIG and T-Fly. been on that before.
Yes, sir, this is what we actually approved, a couple months ago. But we actually got a quote from the HB to extend our roads. We got two roads on Van Buren and Johnsonville. A lot of our roads throughout the county are not wide enough, and so James just talked to them about trying to, at least doing 3 foot on each side of the road. To, them come in and mill and then reapply and add a foot on each side. A lot of our roads are probably around 18 feet across. So right now, we're trying to get about 20. We actually, on this bid that we're gonna do for hopefully for Ingram and Franklin Church Road, they're gonna actually add that foot on there. So this is, right now, it says it's gonna be 100,000 just to add it per mile, so we got 12 miles for Johnsonville and Van Buren, so it's gonna be an extra, 1,200,000. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna add this to our RFP. Well, if y'all approve it, I approve all of it, it's only 20,000, so I can't do that, so. But, on phase 3, there was 2 roads we're gonna do, and we're gonna cut back on phase 3 and try to make sure we get at least 2 of those roads done, so Howard and Ingram Street. So, yes. They says we can take, it's 1,996,000, and we're actually gonna use 773 when we left on the 2 roads, so. I have to get approval to actually apply that $1.2 million to our next RFP for paving next year.
So do we need to add that into the, now?
Yes.
Alright, entertain a motion reference the Big Box project, phase 2 and phase 3.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we add Johnsonville Road and Van Buren Road and apply that to the Lamig, funds.
It's gonna be a big T-Splosh.
T-Splosh.
Like I said, this is phase 2, Ingram Road and Raven Church Road, and we're gonna add this to that phase 2, and then we're gonna take it from phase 3, and so where we can actually add that, we put it on each side of the 2 roads.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Gillis and a second by Commissioner Fletcher, to add Johnsonville and Van Buren to phase 2, and we're gonna take off the road on phase 3. Any discussion? Before we vote on this motion, I will say that this opportunity for us to really look at widening, working with these roads, one of our concerned citizens came during a public meeting and shared, and we went back and took a look at it again and again, and James came up with a very creative way of talking and explaining and sharing it with EXP, and they were able to help us, resolve the issue, and so, again, you know, this additional cost is to repair, but also to widen those roads. So the motion on the floor is to approve, the Lamig phase 2 and T-Splosh project. The motion was made by Commissioner Gillis, and second by Commissioner Fletcher. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Tom, you wanna go ahead and jump into your administrative report? Even though I've already had to share some of your.
And, just give you some numbers on the railroad, they had 184 transports, they had 98 refusals. They had 37 cancellation, and response time was 7 minutes and 14 seconds. And they did, have 27 mutual aid from us, actually lower, usually around 300 past months, and it's actually lower. Right now, our expenditures for November should be at 91.67. And our parks have been doing very well, they're at 88.8. mentioned, I had some issues with some escrow accounts coming from banks. So that actually, on December 11th, we actually received, $4,733,000 on that day when they actually were catching up. That should jump up pretty quick on this cash flow. Today, we have submitted that life safety plan to the fire marshal on December 12th. And we will await the final approval, but we have been issued that temporary. Actually, this afternoon, I received word from the fire marshal that that's been approved. So they're coming out and giving us our CO, hopefully after the holidays. But it did give us another 90 days to get that done. Hogan, struggling with some of their contractors, they are telling me the ETA on the glass for the tax commission is gonna be January 8th. There's some signs, the signs are coming in also the same week, it's gonna be inside of, each department and actually giving directions. We have received Hogan has received their CO for the building, so we just they got a lot of things they gotta nip up on me, like the painting, they've done that, and they got a couple other issues that they're actually going through. EXP is working with I think we worked with CW Matthews this past week, finishing up some of that punch list, still waiting on the, asphalt, or microservices to come back in and finish up some of this. Received word on the courthouse roof and the detention center, our consultant went out and went on both roofs and actually came back and both of them, they had to do a couple minor details, but actually both roofs were done well. Seen in the paper today that, needed a new roof for the jail, but, when they went up, I think December or not, when that report came out, and that was the same day that consultants were doing something. I think there was some tiles that they were rain damage, and since the roof's been done, our bank has not been able to come around and replace the tiles. So those two roofs will be done, so. And on down to lost, or actually received $122,011.66, which it puts our total collection for the year at 101%. Lost, we received $214,076.52, which our collections are $107.42 budget. And then we received our first collections for the used loss. That's $214,076.52, and we paid out our portion to Outdoor and probably $70,000 to Lamar. So we're just gonna wait to December and January, to finish up Miller, and then hopefully we start with the collection between us and Barnesville at 64. East Loss, we received $193,017.27. So, right now, we're doing pretty well right now. I see that end of the month, we should be able to move forward with a good bit of fund balance. So we won't have to use the tender next year. That's all I have for tonight.
Thank you very much. All right, next we have our public comment. And the first one we have is Tom Rauch.
Yep.
Did I pronounce that right?
Close enough.
Thank you. Please state your name and address.
Okay, I'm Tom Roush, and I live at 371 Bean Road, here in Lamar County. And I'm, most of my life I've spent as in manufacturing engineering, designing new products and watching investments. People invest in them, and we have products that we have to deliver that are supposed to make a profit. And this whole, thing with the landfill has every warning sign of not being on the up and up. It's a project that sometimes people get into and they have the best intentions. They really mean to finish a project, but they get in over the top. They go beyond their own capabilities. They don't rely on anybody else to help them, and they get in trouble. And then when they get in trouble, they start covering it up. And the money's gone, the money goes someplace, we don't know where it went, and then everybody else gets stuck with the bill. And it isn't necessarily because the person started out to do something like this. And I've seen it several times. And I've seen good people lose all their money. You know, life savings gone. And it isn't necessarily because the person started out to do this, but they get in over their head and then they try to cover up. And then that just makes it worse. So we all know the promises. I was gonna go over all the promises. These promises started in, 2013. And in 2014, all of us were promised that one of those machines would be running in 2014. And here we are, look at where we are today. Nothing is running. We don't know what machines anybody has. We don't know what assets we have. Nobody seems to really want to find out what we bought for what's been spent, 25 million, 27 million, and nobody wants to know where it went. And I think that this has gone on too long, and I think we should take it serious. Whether we like somebody, whether we don't like somebody, whether we think they're the greatest person in the world, when the performance is like this, you have to look at it. Because it's too much money for one person to tell you whether they're doing the right thing or not. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Alright, the next person we have on the agenda is Pat Pierce. Pat Pierce.
Beth Pierce, 186 Pleasant Road. I want to address the fact that the five of you are elected officials. You are elected. And your primary responsibility is to protect the taxpayers, to run the county, do the right thing, make sound decisions. The fact that we have two members of this commission that sit on the Solid Waste Authority and did not recuse themselves from the vote is a crying shame. Y'all should be ashamed of yourself. That was the right. Every time you guys are given the chance to do the right thing, you balk on it. You table it. There are a lot of people that don't know what's going on, but the people that do know what's going on, they're tired of it. And I'm speaking as Beth, the citizen, not the GOP chair tonight. But I will be looking into what it takes to recall a county commissioner. Take that.
Next person is Cindy Bushby.
My name's Cindy Bushby, I live at 155 Red Run Lane, Barnstable, Georgia. My comments are in reference to the solid waste authority. I received your.
Cindy, I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Hello? Can you hear me now? I'm very mechanically challenged.
Can you speak louder? Sorry.
Okay, can you hear me?
Or could somebody get up and help her with the microphone?
All right. My comments are in reference to the solid waste
if everybody else can hear you though, I'm sorry.
Hello. All right, did you guys hear my name?
Yes.
155. My comments are in reference to the Solid Waste Authority. I received through open records minutes of the Solid Waste Authority. In 2022, there were minutes for only one meeting, yet at a Solid Waste Authority meeting in September, it was confirmed by both Nancy Thrash and Johnny Poor that they were paid $150 or $1,800 for that year. How can that be when your bylaws are $25 per year, or actually per meeting, excuse me? This would mean both Commissioner Thrash and Commissioner Traylor are financially compromised and should recuse themselves from any motions passed by this commission on any vote regarding the Solid Waste Authority. Also in the minutes received, there are missing pages from different meetings. For example, December 6, 2019. There were to be discussions about investors to buy out the GFA loan. That page or pages are missing. Why would you need investors when you are spending millions of dollars of public funds? Is it not malfeasance to hide open records? And this is just one example. Previously in an email to GFA, Johnny Poor purposely did not send a contract with Paradigm Manufacturing, Seaborn Crosby to Amanda Carroll to avoid open records. Thank you.
The next person on the list is Lamar.
Elaine Halada, 131 Steeplechase. I want to confirm that you are financially compromised. And I go back to what Johnny Poor said, $1,800 a year, one meeting. Well, that's a real profit center for both of you. Nancy Thrash joined the Solid Waste Authority in 2009. Going by that amount of money, Nancy Thrash would have been paid $17,550 till September. She only attended 43 meetings. At $25 a meeting, she should have only got $1,075. It's disgusting. Ryan Traylor, since you got on the board, you only attended 26 meetings. At $25, that would have been $650. But guess what? You've received over $12,000. You are financially compromised. You have no business voting whether or not there should be a forensic audit. Also, I noticed in meeting minutes that, and some other research, that Mr. Poor has 3 companies registered at 172 Roger Brown Drive. Why does he need 3 companies? Okay? In reviewing the Amway's contract, I noticed there was no reference to the fact that the Solid Waste Authority appears to have allowed $1.25 million, that's a minimum, of county assets and equipment and machinery to be used by Amway's. That includes the trash containers that we have for trash pickup. Amway's is in possession and control of these assets. Why is there no line item for payment from Amway's for this? And if the Solid Waste Authority still owns this equipment, who's paying for the maintenance of this equipment? Probably not Amway's. It appears that you board members gave away these valuable assets. Perhaps you could explain your negligent supervision and lack of oversight in any of this. The only way to right the ship is for both of you to vacate your seats on this commission immediately and promise to never run for public office again.
The next person on the agenda, for the, comment, Bonnie Martin.
Bonnie Martin, 626 Piedmont Road, Lawrenceville, Georgia. I have prepared 2 separate public comments, thinking that, the whole board might,
Can't hear you, Bonnie.
reason to do what they should do, but I ended up having to use a different, a different comment here. Can you hear me?
No. Did it turn off?
The batteries were dead. I mean, the light was red, I'm sure they did.
Well, hell, nobody ever checked it. I don't know that they did that intentionally.
Is that better?
Get closer. There you go.
Is that better?
Yeah.
I am extremely disappointed that some of our board does not care to look into all the suspicious dealings of the Solid Waste Authority. It's unfortunate that we didn't have a concerned citizens group paying attention back in 2017 when the project for the waste to fuel was supposed to be up and running and didn't happen. People tend to let elected officials take care of things and trust them to do what they should. According to some of the open records received of minutes of both the Solid Waste Authority and the Board of Commissioners meetings, there was never any discussion that the project had failed to start. The $27.5 million project just didn't materialize. And eventually, both the landfill and the equipment were turned over to a private company that is filling it up with trash from all over and making it hard for Lamar citizens to even utilize. It should have been the responsibility of Commissioners Thrash and Traylor to lead inquiries, since both have served on the Solid Waste Authority for many years. Instead, it only came to light when a citizen started asking questions and getting unsatisfactory answers. A concerned citizens group has been discouraged at every attempt to find out the facts. It's sad and embarrassing that Fox 5 News has more interest in finding out and reporting what has gone on than most of our elected representatives. In September, we were told at a packed House Commissioners meeting that the final deadline for the project to be up and running was December the 1st. A Fox News interview with Johnny Poore was where we found out that now he hopes it will be up and running sometime this summer. Really? Having to rely on the news report for information is not how we should be informed. The more that comes out, the worse we realize the situation is. Not only do we need a forensic audit, we also need an engineering audit to ascertain if the project is even viable. Again, this is something the Solid Waste Board members should be aware of and addressing. You know, the Solid Waste Authority is kicking the can down the road again, and the Board of Commissioners is doing the same thing. Delaying, tabling this again for another month. You were elected to represent the taxpayers of Lamar County, to protect our interest, not to waste them, and not to hide and cover up problems. Thank you for listening. I hope you actually heard. Oh, look, I did it back in 3 minutes.
We have John Carroll.
John Carroll, 530 Thomason Street, Barnesville, Georgia. I would just like to understand the ethical responsibilities of this board. Enough has been said about the Solid Waste Authority here tonight, and you know that I've been deeply involved in looking into the paperwork. I mean, there's really no possible reason why any of the commissioners should not be fully informed on all of these subjects tonight. But, I mean, when we're talking about ethics, we have a commissioner who was stopped by the police in Milner and felt comfortable enough to throw around the name of our sheriff to try to intimidate a local officer. Not only that, that commissioner felt comfortable admitting that she had borrowed the trailer in question from a man that I believe this county is involved in a lawsuit with, which is actually the first black eye that this county has had in the past year that has made it onto the news regarding that racetrack. I mean, what kind of power do you think you have that you're able to have such an ethical lapse? You need to resign. You are morally compromised, and you have no business voting on the interests of this county.
Next, we have James Hyde.
James Hyde, 116 White Oak Drive. Georgia Code 12-8-53 authorizes the setting up of solid waste authorities in the state. However, Code Section 12-8-54 sets up the control and management of these authorities. And I quote, "Control and management of the authority shall be vested in a board of at least 5 directors who shall be residents of the county or municipal corporation in which is a member of the authority. At least 3 such directors shall be elected officials of the county or municipal corporation. The directors shall serve at the pleasure of the governing authority of the county or municipal corporation." This clause clearly gives this commission, authority and governance over the board of the SWA. This is further solidified by Georgia Code 12-8-59, which reads, "The governing body of any unit of local government which has authorized the functioning of an authority may by proper resolution or ordinance declare that there is no need for such authority to function." This further underscores that the county governing authority has ultimate control over the solid waste authority and firmly puts to rest the assertion that it is an independent authority outside the control of the county commission, as was stated earlier, and by the SWA's attorney. Furthermore, the Lamar County Regional Solid Waste Authority is not in compliance with the Georgia Department of Community Affairs as is required by OGCA 36-80-16. It has delinquent reports for the last 4 years as reported on the AARF report dated December the 15th, 2023. And I suspect there are many other years. Per OGCA 36-80-16, subparagraph F, any local government authority which fails to register with the Department of Community Affairs shall not incur any debt or credit obligations, nor shall it be eligible to receive any state funds until such time as it meets the registration requirements. While GFA may believe that they are in compliance with the terms of the loan agreement, they are not in compliance with the laws of the state of Georgia that allow them to receive funds, spend funds, or incur debt. With that, it is incumbent on you, as the county governing authority, to immediately remove all current directors from the board of the Lamar County Regional Solid Waste Authority and install new members who can do simple things like read and follow the law and who have some integrity, a moral compass, honesty, and who actually care about citizens of this county.
Next, we have Donald Hartman.
A couple of notes here, Donald Hartman, 507 November Road. Not my first time at the podium. Y'all hear me back there?
Yeah.
Very good. Again, key word for me, transparency. Why can't we be transparent about this project? Again, we had discussion, with, Mr. Lovett here, Ms. Giles, everybody else here. Oh, I should say all the commission. On regards to legal counsel. As I understand, we have our legal counsel, or it is ours, we're the community. We have, Scott over here, and the Solid Waste Authority now has their counsel. So, so what I saw tonight is some of the discussion was, you know, let council get with council, they're the legal folks, and let them see what we need to do actually. I mean, it's one council against, I should say against, but let them get together and see what actually you as commissioners can do in getting a forensic audit. I think it's well deserved. I think we need to find out where everything's going. Again, I finally moved up here after years of wanting to join up here with my family, and this project is going on for 13. I mean, I saw something on social media. Social media can be bad at times, but it showed Johnny Poor showing somebody, here's product that we do. But yet, as I understood, it was a prototype, patent pending. It's not even running, but he had something to show somebody back in 13. And we were supposed to be one of the first, if not the one in the country to have it. Where did he get it from? So there's just a lot of questions that I see that are unanswered. Again, hey, the public's invited to come see it. But then Commissioner Lovett, he can't go over there, he's being turned down. You know, there's a lot of holes in this project. It should have been up and running. Businesses, they call it ROI, return on investment. We've been too long running on this project. It should have been going. Like some of the other folks in the group have found out, you do your research. Mr. Lovett, I think you said it, along maybe with a couple others. There's other projects that are up and going. They're up and running within 2 years. 13, we're fixing to go to 24. And now maybe, like the other young lady said, for Channel 5, maybe some. The citizens deserve some answers. I'd like to have some answers. Again, I'm about 300 feet away from it. I'd like to know what's going on across the street. You know, they deserve answers as well. Do we ever have any town hall meetings? I mean, I don't see Johnny Poor here tonight. I think that if I would possibly gonna have forensic audit done, and I'm the director of an authority, I think I might have been in attendance. So it doesn't seem like it's important to him. His council's not here, our council's here. My time's running out. Thank you for your time.
My name is Dixie Benson. I live at 399 Grove Street, just down the road from the new Lookout Mountain of Lamar County. Some commissioners are stalling, hoping to put off the inevitable, while others are seeking truth and accountability. If a guest walked in this meeting and they were not privy to the interests of our county, it would be obvious to our guests the desires of the Lamar County citizens. We do want to have accountability from the Solid Waste Authority.
Mike Maddox?
Yeah, my name is Mike Maddox. Can y'all hear me all right?
Yes.
Because I want everybody to hear me. I live at 120 Magnolia Farms Drive, Milner, Georgia. 13 years ago, me and my wife moved to Lamar County. And I thank the citizens then for letting us move into your county. And I still thank you again today. I left Henry County because of the same kind of stuff that's going on right here. We moved down here, we bought our house, and guess what? Since we bought our house, we've paid taxes every year in this county. Not everybody in this room can say that they own their home and they pay taxes in this county. Now, when it comes to the landfill, I have heard from several different citizens and myself that we used to be able to take 2 tons a year to that landfill and dump it. We can't go into that landfill now and take our trash to that landfill, we get turned away. So I want to tell y'all right now, get in your car, ride around this county, because your county's turning into a landfill. There's stuff on the sides of the roads, because ain't nobody take it to the dump anymore. So I want you to think about that real hard, about what has happened since that landfill's been taken over. So ride around and look, and you're gonna see the trash, and I mean trash, man. I seen on this road one time in Lamar County that had a boat full of trash sat on the side of the road for 2 months. And it finally got moved. Now, who's paying for that? Who pays for that trash to get taken off of the roads? More money we have to spend. Okay, more money we have to spend. That's just like every project that I've seen that's gone on, there's always been, well, this extra spending, who's paying for it? We're spending money before we even pay money back, and we got a big one to pay back. Now, you asked about things being tabled. I seen this happen. This has got Henry County's MO all over it. You table it to cover it up. And it's gonna keep right on going. I thank y'all very much.
That's the end of our public comments. The next item on our agenda is roundtable. Commissioner Levitt?
Yes, sir. As we discussed a little bit ago, there is now an open seat on the Solid Waste Authority. If any of the community is interested, please send me your information. Send me just some background of why you want to, especially if you have technical ability to look at some of these projects. Several people that stepped to this mic this evening have been involved in projects this big, and I believe would be an asset to that seat. As we talked about, we've tabled that, replacing that empty seat until January, so please use my email, it's on the county website. Send me a resume, basically, and let's get some people involved. Thank you so much.
I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, and I hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
All righty, there's a couple things that I wanted to mention tonight. The first one is, I know a lot of you are disappointed in the motions or the lack thereof, but the responsibility of our board is not to do symbolic motions. It could have been easy to sit here and vote for something that we did not have the authority to vote for. So, in all due diligence, the board did a great thing by allowing our council and as well as conflict councils to identify what it is that this board has the ability to do. The worst case scenario, we've been on the other side of this before. The worst case scenario is that we impose our will in a symbolic motion, and then we end up in a major lawsuit stating that we did not even have the authority to do that in the first place. So that is the first thing I want to say tonight. The second one is that there are a lot of people here tonight that I remember seeing standing here when we were working through the renovations of the gym, especially right there at the end when there was a lot of concern if the gym was safe, and the fire marshal was called in, the fire marshal came down. I will tell you, Saturday morning when I went to the gym and I talked to players who were playing, I talked to parents, I talked to grandparents, even talked to some of our employees who are part-time that work there. They were so impressed and so appreciative of what happened with that gym, all the way down from the bathroom to the lighting to the entire facility. And it's very disappointing that a lot of people who complained didn't show up. It would have been nice to see some of them come there and celebrate and see what happened with that facility and see it, see what it turned out to be. Also, the last item that I wanted to share with you guys is that, and I do, I hope you have a Merry Christmas. I hope you have an opportunity to step away from some of the frustrations you might have with the Solid Waste Authority or any other item that's out there that's taking up your time, and but to enjoy it with your family. And remember that, the reason why we have Christmas, and step away from that, and I truly hope that to be the case, is that you guys will truly have an opportunity to put it aside, enjoy your family, enjoy your grandkids, and have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Do we have a need for executive? I don't think we have. All right. I entertain motions to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Have a motion to adjourn by Commissioner Phillips, and a second by Commissioner Fletcher. All in favor, any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.